So I'm a little bit early. Haven't opened the gate yet. Should be opening it up soon enough, but figured I'd just record a little quick bit. Not going to record the mountain or the trail really too much because I've done that in a bunch of other videos. I come here all the time. So really the point of this is to rock the 15 miles, like I said in the last video. So it is 3 days later. It's Wednesday. That was Sunday. And I've got snacks. I've got water in the car. And yeah, I've got my pack loaded up, ready to rock. So we're going to see what's going to happen. As far as snacks, I'm going with some RX bars just because they were what they had at Walgreens, and some gummy snacks, some fruit snacks. So hopefully that'll work as far as getting me some glycogen and all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll check in after I get running for a little bit. See you in a bit. Well, it's good a time as any to take a little break here. An hour and 2 minutes, 3.25 miles. And I don't know if the camera shows it. We got a rattlesnake right there. So he's kind of blocking my trail. I'm not entirely sure what to do to get around him, but I got to figure that out. I'm going to pull my phone out to try to get a little bit of a cooler shot of him at, you know, my own risk here, obviously. Anyway, I'm having a good run so far, feeling good. Had a little bit of pain in the arch on my right foot. My knees are still just a little bit tender from Sunday's run, but nothing too crazy. I've had consistent knee pain my whole life. It's just something I've been kind of working through recently along with my other pursuits. So anyway, let's see if I can figure out how to get past this rattlesnake and continue my run. Zoom in a little bit on this guy here. Yeah, I mean, he's ready to make my day unpleasant. So I got to figure out how to get around. Just cruising this morning. Maybe not as fast as splits as Sunday, but I think they're more consistent, less variance. I haven't had to walk like at all, just jogging. It's been relatively easy to manage my heart rate, which, you know, as an amateur, I think is probably the most important thing and probably the trickiest aspect of trail running, because obviously the terrain is up and down. You've got uneven footing, you got rocks, all sorts of stuff like that. But, you know, if you can manage your heart rate and get into kind of that zone for you where you can just kind of go and go and go forever. And man, running is so fun when you get in that zone. You just keep going and going and going. So anyway, I'll touch base when we get to my car, aka the aid station. We're at about a quarter mile until the car, aka the aid station. So I figured I'd do a little bit of a cool down walk just to get the heart rate down before eating and rehydrating, all that good stuff. Overall, kind of the assessment at this point, I'm a little over 2 hours at 2 hours and 5 minutes. So, you know, going to come in probably about 2:15 on the first lap. But all in all, lungs feel good. That's never really my limiting factor, despite quitting smoking about 2 years ago. My lungs are really, really good. I think my VO2 max isn't that great, but my resting heart rate is, you know, below 40 most of the time. So that's good. The problem is my knees, my ankles. I don't have good running form. As I said, I've never been a particularly proficient runner. As a kid, I rolled my ankles all the time. You know, saw a podiatrist, told me I had Gumby feet, custom orthotics, these little ankle booties with supports on the sides. Never was fast. And it's really actually kind of surprising I spend as much time on my feet with pretty minimalist zero drop shoes. But getting off topic, I am feeling some pretty decent knee pain right now. It's not bad as I walk, but when I was running, it was really starting to get to me. Something I could push through, but again, it's that kind of that balance between pushing too hard before the race. And I want to save that, and I don't want to accidentally push too hard leading up to it. But anyway, I just figured I'd also add in as we come to the aid station is kind of the synchronicity of this particular race. This mountain is where I fell in love with hiking, and what kind of saved me from unaliving myself was hiking in and around and up and over this mountain 1.5 million times. And I had an experience that I really do need to make a video of at some point, but my point being, an 11/11, November 11th race around this mountain was too synchronistic to pass up. So anyway, we'll catch you in a minute. All right, less than 10 minutes. Use the bathroom, refresh the hydration and the snacks. Feeling pretty good. Didn't really sit too much, just kind of stay standing. But we'll see how things go once I start running as far as the knee pain. Definitely can feel a little inflammation, especially on the left side. But should be good, should be able to finish this. I guess one difference between this 25K simulation versus one of the 2 laps, the 25K laps for the 50K race, is that overall, over in the entire 50K, I think it's like 2,600 feet of elevation gain, whereas I'll be doing 2,000 feet of elevation gain in 25K at the end of my second lap here. So a little more vertical than I'll be experiencing during the actual race, but that's, you know, kind of good preparation and kind of doubles as a little bit of strength training to go with the cardio, as well as just kind of the joint, the impact training. So anyway, figured I'd bring that up, but yeah, I don't know, we've got, it's 2:20, so obviously didn't stop the clock during the break, kept that running the whole time, so 2 hours and 40 minutes to finish this thing. I think that's pretty doable. We'll see how things go. We'll see how I feel as I get moving. But I just wanted to note too, part of the reason why I'm focusing so heavily on what I wanted to make sure to do, you know, a 25K simulation before the actual race day, is because I want to know that I have the ability to get it done within those 5 hours, because I've got 10 hours to do it the second lap. So, you know, a 3 mile an hour average roughly for the first lap, 1.5 mile an hour average the second lap, which, I mean, I'll hike faster than 1.5 miles an hour. So as long as I can get it, that first lap done within 5 hours, I'm good to go, I think. So anyway, I'm rambling a bit. I probably should start walking or start running and get this thing moving. Catch you in a second. Well, I've seen like real seasoned ultra runners talk about the pain cave and just sitting in it. I don't know. I am a wuss, because my feet and my knees are really telling me that I should have not done the second lap. But I already started it, so I kind of got to finish it now, right? That's the way that neurochemically I try to keep things as much as possible, which then makes it easier to keep it this way. But when you set out to do something, make sure you finish it. So like Sunday, I really wanted to do 2 laps, and it would have been good to make sure that I did get the 2 done, but I just wasn't really appropriately prepared. So coming out here today, just a couple days later, to make sure that I get done what I set out to do is very important. Now, if I come up a little bit short on the 5 hours, I think that's going to be all right. Just given that, again, I've got a little bit of time, and I at least, you know, spent the hours on my feet, put the miles in, and you know, you can't negate that, even if it's not at a pace as quick as you'd like. You know, I am going to get 15 miles on my feet today, so ultimately it's going to be a good day, even if I'm real sore afterwards. Here's our friend again. He has not left this spot. I don't know if he's injured or just having a really good meal, or what the case is, but we'll try not to provoke him. Go off trail just a little bit here. I really want to get a better look. That's kind of wild. It's been there so long without really moving. I think it's hurt or something because I'm pretty darn close to it. Probably shouldn't push my luck too much, but I'm about 3 feet away. Yeah, I think that's, and now he's moving a little bit. Huh, I think he's injured. We'll let him be. So I don't know how well this is gonna work, but the goal is to get up to the saddle and then ideally pick back up running the rest of the way. I've just been hiking almost this entire time because these shoes already, I feel everything. I feel most things. I really met the situation where I need a new pair, and I'm waiting until the race to break in my new pair. So my feet are killing me, my knees. I'm just a complaining mess right now, and figure I'll hike the rest of the uphill and hopefully be able to kind of run the rest of the downhill. Now it's not entirely downhill once I get up to that saddle, but it's mostly downhill. It's fairly fast to kind of finish up the trail. So we'll see how I do. We've got 3 hours and 13 minutes in, so an hour 47 to get another 4.4 miles, give or take. So that seems somewhat reasonable to be able to still finish within the 5 hours. So hopefully able to pull it off. But I really just kind of want to get done. It's kind of wild to think that my Superstition Ridgeline hike was basically the same distance, and I did it in way longer and was in way worse shape. Granted, that's another 3,000 feet of vertical gain and loss, but anywho, back to hiking. Big reason why I wanted to do this 25K simulation of half the race is because I wanted to know how bad of a spot I put myself in by not training for the last month. And yeah, I think I definitely have my answer. The first 7, 8, 9 miles, give or take, not a problem. I'm gonna cruise. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful. Beyond that point, it's going to be tough for me to run. And the reason I haven't even been running is my trot is so slow. I think I'm actually hiking faster than I was running. So I just don't think it makes sense. And we're looking at an hour and 15 minutes until 5 hours. And we've got, what's that, 12? A little less than 3 miles, like 2.8 miles, give or take. So I should be able to hike that and finish within the 5 hours, which is good to know that, you know, I don't need to cruise as much on that, you know, that first 7.5 miles, give or take. I can maybe save up some reserves a little bit, take a little bit of less abuse on the joints, and then go a little bit quicker on the second half. I mean, it's hard to say. I'm going to be so close to that 5 hours, I'm not really going to want to be playing too many games with it, trying to outsmart anything, out-strategize. So I think I really will just try to just get done and basically do what I did today. And then the thinking probably is going to be you know, figure out some way that I'm going to be able to, you know, get a little bit of relief on the joints and the muscles so that I can actually complete the thing. Because, you know, I say hiking 1.5 miles an hour isn't a problem, but, you know, hiking 1.5 miles an hour after you've already hiked and ran 15 miles for another 15 miles, that's a little tricky. So we'll see what I'm able to ultimately do on race day. And obviously I've got some time still, you know, to prepare. It's only the, I don't even know what the date is, the 18th, I think. So I've got time to at least build a little bit more resilience, a little bit more toughness to the joints and the muscles, and ideally, you know, get some more miles on the feet. I mean, I know what I need to focus on now. It's really, I need to be focusing on these long runs, which is what I needed to be focusing on, you know, the entire time if I was actually training, because obviously I'm running an ultra marathon distance. So kind of common sense that you need to get those long runs. Anyway, I'm rambling, my feet hurt, I just want to be done. I got like a 40-minute drive back to my apartment after I get done too. I'm not looking forward to a long drive in the car. Anyway, let's see if we can wrap this thing up before 5 hours hits. All right, so let's kind of wrap things up here. Man, it feels good to sit down, and you can already tell I'm going to be hobbling around the rest of the day, probably tomorrow too. Good thing I got the days off. But yeah, so what are we looking at here? 14.9 miles was the final total. 4 hours and 40 minutes was the final time. So did get it done within the 5 hours, which is good because theoretically I should be able to get a little bit quicker before race day. The main thing I'm hoping to be able to impact is to adapt a little bit of resilience and toughness, predominantly to the feet and to the knees, mainly by just, you know, putting in work over these couple of weeks. If I'm not mistaken, it takes about 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get an adaptation. So, you know, I've really got to kind of push it for the 2 to 3 weeks, make sure I get really good sleep and really good rest, so that, because obviously that's when you're making your adaptations. You're not getting faster while you're out here running and hiking, it's while you're sleeping. So hopefully, you know, within the next couple of weeks, I can get just a little bit quicker, a little bit stronger to make it a little more confident that I'll be able to finish the full 50K. Obviously today, 14.9 miles, that's a little shy of 25K, but more or less 25 kilometers, half the race. I'm happy I was able to do it in less than 5 hours. However, the pain, the significant decrease in pace between the first half and the second half does make me worried, because of course the 50K is twice as long as what I just did. So definitely have some work to do, a little bit of worry. I feel pretty confident I'll be able to get the 50K done. I'm just also pretty confident that I'm going to really hate life for a little bit after I complete it. So ideally with training, I can hate life a little bit less after I get done with it. And all good stuff to know for my next ultra marathon. I mean, I knew taking a month off was really going to bite me in the butt, really going to hurt things, obviously, especially with only a total of 3 months to prepare for it to begin with, and essentially going from somebody who doesn't run at all. I was hiking, and I'd been hiking for a number of years and all that good stuff, but not a runner. Anyway, let's think about these stats here. So again, 14.9 miles in 4 hours and 40 minutes. I got a 100% on my running performance, so that's good. My training load was high. Not that really matters to anybody. It's just kind of specific to the watch, so it helps as far as individual workouts. This was a base training focus, aerobic overreaching, maintaining anaerobic, and that's probably because, unlike on Sunday, I didn't keep kind of pushing myself, because again, this was twice as long as I was out here on Sunday. So while I was able to run continuously for 99% of it, 98% of it on the first lap, the second lap is almost inverse. I probably ran for 5-10% and hiked the rest of it. Thankfully, I hike at a pretty decent clip, 3 miles an hour, give or take, in most situations. So I don't lose a tremendous amount of ground by hiking versus running, but obviously I am still slowing down a decent amount. Let's see what we got here. My best mile was 12 minutes, 43 seconds, which is pretty standard. I think on Sunday, I had a low 12 minute as my best mile. I think I might have had a couple of them in the 12-minute range. Average was 1850, so I mean that's a little bit better than 3 miles an hour. Sunday, I want to say I was at like 3.7 miles an hour, so definitely slower. Again, obviously, because the second half I did mostly hiking instead of running. But yeah, it's we'll see how quick I can bounce back. I want to try to get some kind of a recovery run in. Maybe just a hike. It's something tomorrow. We'll see if I end up making a video for it or not. It might just be kind of just a minor thing that I don't bother recording. Maybe I'll go check out somewhere new that just kind of a little bit of an easier trail. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm rambling per usual. Hope this was anything decent. Hope you guys are enjoying kind of this transition of mine and following along with it. But anyway, I appreciate you stopping by. We'll catch you next time. Peace.